Hey guys, it's Julian from Beneath the Bunk Studios and BeneathTheBunk.com. I hope you're doing wonderfully today. We are Beneath the Bunk, talking about the concept of EQing without using any EQ. Let's get right into it. So right here, I have a session open from a band called Dumpweed. The song is called Track .152. Check out this song as well as the rest of the songs that are on the EP that this song is on at the link in the description. Super awesome guys, super awesome EP. Very stoked on it. Anyway, let's talk about this vocal, which is something that I discovered while I was making the how I produced video for this song. So when I was going through the vocal chain that I used for the main vocals in this track, I noticed that I'm not using any EQ on the main vocals. And I was like, that's weird. I don't know if I've ever done that before. And I thought it could be a pretty cool lesson for a video, so that's why I'm doing this. I'm going to play the song for you so you can understand what we're dealing with, and then I'm going to play the vocals in solo so that you could hear a more obvious version of what I'm talking about. So that's the song, super cool, aggressive vocals. Eric, who's the singer of this band, is a madman. So let's press play here and hear these vocals in solo. I'm just playing the main vocal, no doubles, no layers, no anything.
Rolling a shade, rolling a knee, bounce out you like a dog in the street. Come on, the worst can't make sense of that. Delay.
All right, and now let's hear it without any processing at all, so that we can understand what these vocals started out as.
Come on, the worst can't make sense of that. Delay.
Now, that's a pretty good performance. The waveform, he tracked this with an SM57 into a PreSonus audio box. So there's no crazy outboard compressors going on here, nothing interesting really. And the waveform is pretty consistent. You know, he's singing pretty consistently, screaming rather, and everything sounds consistent. So we're not fighting against a bad take is really where I'm going with that. So let's re-enable all the processing. And I'm going to enable the plugins one by one. I have the effects. I'll take the effects off, actually. And I'm going to re-enable plugins one by one so you could hear what each one is doing. So first off, we have this Brainworks SSL console. I'm just using this as a filter to get rid of low end that is unnecessary and a compressor with a super fast attack and a medium release. And this is what it sounds like with that.
Rolling a shame, rolling a knee, bounce out you like a dog in the street. Come on, the worst can't make sense of that. Delay.
So that's just what I like to call my stay here compression. It's like, don't go anywhere. We want it to be nice and consistent, even more than it already is. Now we're going to move on to the CLA 76, which is another compressor. This is kind of my movement compressor. So we wanted to make him sound like he's screaming harder than he really is.
Bounce out you like a dog in the street. Come on, the worst can't make sense of that. Delay.
So this one is doing much less gain reduction than the SSL console is, which was doing around 10. This was doing more around, the 3 to 5 area. So now we're going to move on to the saturation, which is FabFilter Saturn, and this is what it sounds like with Saturn engaged.
Come on, the worst can't make sense of that. Delay.
I like what it's doing to the just the overall energy. It sounds beefier. It sounds just a little bit more distorted, obviously, because it's a saturation, but you get what I'm saying. So the topic of this video, EQing without EQ. Where does that come into play? Well, let's look at this Brainworks SSL console and how this entire EQ channel is not doing anything. This is where you would see boosts happening, and there are no boosts happening. And why do I feel the need to talk about that? What you will have noticed if you're astute is that each plugin is kind of EQing the sound, interestingly enough. So as a result of that, the way that compressors affect sounds is not just on the dynamic level. It can also be on the frequency level. So if you compress the crap out of a sound, you could also tame high frequencies. Am I saying substitute EQs for compressors? No, of course I'm not. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that although I do like to EQ before my compressors, even though I like to do that, what I will often do is instantiate my compressors, get compressors working, and then go back to the EQ that is before the compressors and play around with my EQ so that I can, fit it around the compressor, because the compressor is going to EQ it in a weird way. What I like to do is hear how that's working and then go back to my compressor and be like, okay, I like what the compressor is adding to the sound or taking away from the sound. So I'm going to let that happen. Or I don't like what the compressor is adding or taking away, so I'm going to add it or take it away in this frequency range so that it balances out better to me. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did or if you didn't, or if you have any questions, don't be shy. Let me know down below, and I will talk to you later.